Hi, my name is Dr. Erin Daniel with Rejuvenate Life Chiropractic, and today I'm going to talk about 20 principles of healing. I have this in my book that will be published sometime in 2021. It was a 2020 year, what can I say? That's when I wrote it. And it is called Healing Through the Storm, How to Restore Health While Life is Happening. Number one principle is to have a good spiritual connection and spiritual community. So a connection to God, fill whatever word in that you want, and the religious or spiritual community involved with that. It is very, 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 very important for our souls and our well-being to have that connection to God. Without it, we've got nothing. So we need to develop a relationship with God or whatever other spiritual practices people have in order for us to really feel whole and complete and loved and all of those things. Number two is a sense of purpose, and I will recap this again at the end, but number two is sense of purpose. It's amazing how when people retire, if they don't have anything that they feel that they are contributing to, they have a tendency to die young or die early within a few years after they retire. So crucial process is still maintaining a sense of purpose. My book goes into more detail about when we had multiple generations living together, that sense of purpose was greater, because even as someone was aging, they were still contributing to growth and knowledge of the littles in their area, their grandkids or great-grandkids, so sense of purpose is important. Number three, properly functioning nervous system. For our body, if our nervous system is not working, if there are disturbances in it, there ain't nothing that's going to work, okay? Sorry for the bad grammar. Our brain needs to communicate with our body, and our body needs to communicate with the brain. It does it through three different types of nerves. We have muscular nerves, basically autonomic nerves, and sensory nerves. Sensory nerves get information from the body, pain, temperature, pressure, other environmental factors. The autonomic nerves are going to do things like our rest and digest or our fight or flight system, and then our muscle, nerves are going to go to the muscles. We have to have that communication. If we get a muffled information, we're not going to have the outcome that we need. Our body needs to have our brain tell the rest of it what to do. If it doesn't have a clear signal, it's not telling it correctly. It's kind of like those Verizon commercials. Can you hear me now? What about now? Well, if you're not hearing and there's, dropped words or sentences, it's very frustrating. So the body gets frustrated as well. So properly functioning nervous system is number three. The body needs to be in an alkaline state, which is number four. We heal best. If you've had the pH scale, it's number of hydrogen ions. 1 would be a very, very strong acid. 14 would be a very, very strong base. 7 would be neutral. Our blood likes to stay between 7.35 and 7.45. That equivalent in voltage would be between negative 20 and 25 millivolts. That's Jerry Tennant's book, Healing is Voltage, is a great reference for that. But that's where our body heals best, at that particular voltage. So if we are eating foods that are highly acidic, like refined sugars, hydrogenated oils, high in triglycerides, all of those things that are inflammatory creators are going to make it so our body does not heal properly. Number 5, exercise or daily physical activity. I talk about a concept called Fit for Life. In my book, we need to go through full spinal range of motion every day, full range of motion of the body. One of the best activities that we can possibly do is 20 minutes of walking. I also like to add in stretching and resistance as well as some cardiovascular. I love dancing and Zumba. Those people who know me on a personal level, they know I love to dance. So it's finding something fun that also works, our heart muscle, because that's a muscle that needs to be worked as well. So not necessarily training for a marathon, but getting at least 20 minutes of walking in. Obviously more would be good, but that would give us at least good motion for the day. So just staying and maintaining and making sure we can get into our aged years is important in that concept of fit for life. So number 5 was exercise or daily physical activity. Number 6 is prayer or meditation. Our brain gets into a beta state in which there's a specific portion of that wavelength frequency that can really just be more associated with fear and jumbled up information. It is where we have to process logic and reasoning and all of that when we're in that brain wavelength. However, if we are going to have subconscious control of our body, which is what runs pretty much everything in the background that we don't think about, then we need to get our brain wavelength into a alpha theta border, which is a more calmed state, yet we're not into sleep yet. This is where we change our subconscious. I do caution, there are lots of audios that people listen to for meditations, which, meditation is, huge. But it's important to make sure that what we're feeding that subconscious mind is what we want to be feeding it. So because that's where we have the biggest ability to change, we need to be programming it with things that align with us spiritually or religiously, just as a caution. But great way to, reprogram thoughts that are just stuck and running on autopilot is getting ourselves into that prayer meditative state, reading, the Bible and meditating on that, praying on that, or just spending time in quiet or with, gentle music, etc. Also good. Number 7 is our breathing exercises. Again, here's where our diaphragm has conscious control and subconscious control. Most of the time we don't think about breathing, but we can use our breathing to slow our whole body system down, as well as that breathing can help us get into a subconscious state of programming. It can also get us into a more rest and digest versus fight or flight state. So one example would be exhaling twice as long as you inhale. So you'd inhale, for example, a count of 2, exhale for 4, 2, 3, 4, or whatever pattern, as long as the exhale would be twice as long as the inhale. Number 8, quality of positive and meaningful relationships with other people. This is very important because the more connected we feel and the more that we talk to people daily, it's going to be a longevity predictor. As humans, we're social beings. We need to be social in order to really connect and to feel not isolated and alone. We like to feel safe in general. And part of our safety is our community. The quality of positive and meaningful relationship with ourself is number 9. That's also important because if all we're doing is thinking thoughts about how much we hate ourselves or that we're not enough or that nothing we do is ever good enough, no one will ever love me, kinds of thoughts, those are only going to feed more negative emotions, and those emotions are basically going to turn into, we get emotions because of the feel good or not feel good hormones that are circulating through the body. Our thoughts cause those. Number 10 is going to be the quantity and quality of the just daily person-to-person interaction. This could be supermarket person that you're saying hello to, a greeter. Just the amount of people that we're saying hi to per day is also important. That's actually the number 1 predictor of longevity, at least according to a Susan Pinker talk, TED talk that I listened to, as well as some of the other, research that she was quoting. Number 11 is reducing our stressors. Our physical, chemical, or social stressors are very important. Those different categories are going to cause disturbances in our nervous system, as well as create what we call neurohabituation patterns that get stuck into aberrant information or disjointed information from our brain to our body. Okay, so we want to eliminate as many of those stressors as possible. I skipped one. What did I skip? Quality and quantity of daily person-to-person, not screen time interaction. So I forgot to mention that like a talk like this is not the same as listening to a talk like this in person. So we do want to actually have face-to-face human interaction where we're actually hearing people live and in person. Number 12 is the quality and quantity of food that we eat. Anything that's not a nutrient in our body has the potential to cause harm in it. Okay. So we want to also make sure, because we can overeat healthy foods just like we can overeat unhealthy foods, but typically it's a little harder to do that unless you're eating a lot of nuts or avocado, because that's, good amount of fat is good. We can get overdue fat as well. The quality and quantity of nutrients. Our food is very nutrient depleted right at this point. We could have kale that's grown in California be different than kale that's grown in Iowa, just because the soil is different, the sunlight is different, all sorts of factors. So it's really hard to say, yes, just eat this amount of food. So supplementation is very important. Vitamin D, probiotics, digestive enzymes, a multivitamin mineral, and an essential fatty acid, as well as nitric oxide and a CBD oil. All of those are very good to consider taking on a regular basis. Now, the quality and quantity of water that we have matters as well. A lot of people get dehydration headaches, and our body just doesn't function. We're 70-ish% water, and if we don't have enough throughout the day, then we can also see problems creep up. The quality and quantity of our sleep. This is where we repair. We need to get enough of it. This is all of the regeneration takes place while we're sleeping. Just even things like our cortisol levels, most people have heard of that. We need to make sure that our cortisol comes down, or we just, keep gaining more fat with that specific hormone of the body. Number 16 is the vibrational level that our thoughts are going to occupy. Feeling good thoughts have a higher energy vibration. Everything in the universe is energy. Electrons are all moving around. So the happier thoughts that we feel are going to basically have that higher vibrational pattern. Then if we have lower depressive, anxiety, fear, those are going to have a lower vibrational energy, and those are not as productive for the body, and they are definitely not as healthful. Now, it's still important to let ourselves get angry or sad. It's just for how long? We got to put a limit on it. Like, for how long are we going to be a sulky pants, right? For how long am I going to, complain and moan about a specific thing? We have to at some point suck it up and get over it, at least in letting ourselves, just wallow in self-pity. Okay, we have to get over that hump, but it's not bad to experience it for a little while, let it out. Otherwise, it just gets trapped in the body. So experience it, push it away, done, and out. The number 17 is the quality and quantity of our symbiotic or helpful probiotics in our body. Okay, our helpful microbes. They help us digest our food. They help us then have cofactors for important hormones, so they're going to help us with our feel-good hormones like serotonin and melatonin. We need to have those microbes there helping us digest things in order to get the nutrients into the body that we need. Number 18, increased relaxation and bringing enjoyment to life, so doing things that we love. I love physical activity. I love kayaking and dancing and hiking, and I like to go biking. I do weight training or resistance training. I've done plenty of stretching, yoga, Pilates, martial arts, you name it. I love it, unless it involves a racket. I am so not eye-hand coordinated that way. But I will try just about any kind of physical activity like that, because I get feel-good hormones. When we exercise, we have endorphins and enkephalins that release. But laughing, anything that we do that's funny, all of these things just really help feed, our sense of enjoyment in life. Number 19 is spending time outside in nature. The crackling of a fire, this gentle breeze across the face, the shade on a hot day, the smell of the ocean, the colors of the sunset, the rustling of the leaves, the fall smells, even that fresh, fresh fallen snow smell, the smell after a rain. All of these things are so therapeutic to our body, just being outside, being away from fake lights, being away from, all the chemicals that are all over the flame retardants and everything else, and like just taking in the fresh air and breathing, right? Enjoying the sunshine that comes down on us. So spending time in nature is on my list, number 19, and number 20, taking responsibility for one's own health and one's own life. We cannot abdicate all responsibility to somebody else. I can't heal anybody. The person's body has to heal from the inside. Okay, God can heal, right? The body can heal. We're designed as a self-healing, self-regulating organism that can fix things that are going on. Our bodies it will adapt and change so we can continue to do the things that the body needs to do to function. I help get rid of interference to that system, disturbances in the nervous system, and then that body heals itself. But I can't take the donut or the hamburger, fast food, French fries, the diet pop, the regular pop or soda or whatever you want to call it. I can't rip that out of someone's hand and make them not eat it. I can't get into their brain and say, stop being so self-deprecating. I can't do it. That has to come from the person. It's hard enough to change ourselves. We can't change anybody else. We can help coach people through things. But at some point we have to say no. The choices or the situations in my life that led up to this point for where I'm at, and now it's my responsibility to change it. It's my responsibility to get it moving, get my body moving. It's my responsibility to put good nutrients in. It's my responsibility to distance myself from people who are not good for me, for my own mental, emotional health. It's my responsibility to either change the way I'm thinking about someone that I don't like or get away from them. If it's a boss or a job, it's my responsibility to then get a different job that I do like or change my attitude about it. So we all have choices, and those choices is so crucial to take responsibility. There's nothing more frustrating than listening to people who want to just blame someone else. Yes, there are horrendous things that people have gone through. I wish I could fix it and take it all away. I wish I could make it that person didn't have to experience that. I can't do that. But how they respond is still their choice. So we have to decide to respond differently in a way that serves us versus a way that doesn't serve us. Okay, so that was number 20. So those are my 20 principles for healing in my book, Healing Through the Storm, How to Restore Health While Life is Happening. And they are, to recap, 1, spiritual connection and spiritual community. 2, sense of purpose. 3, properly functioning individual body systems, especially that nervous system. Number 4, alkaline body physiology. Number 5, exercise and or daily physical activity. Number 6, prayer and meditation. Number 7 is our breathing exercises. Number 8 is a quality of positive and meaningful relationships with other people. Number 9 is the same quality of positive, meaningful relationship with ourself. Quality and quantity of daily person-to-person interaction. Number 11, reducing our stressors, the physical, chemical, and emotional stressors. Number 12, the quality and quantity of the food that we're eating as well as nutrients, which is number 13. Number 14 is the quality and quantity of water. Number 15, quality and quantity of sleep. Number 16, vibrational level that our thoughts are going to occupy. Number 17, the quality and quantity of those good gut bacteria. Number 18, increased relaxation and things that bring enjoyment to our life. Number 19, spending time outside in nature. And number 20, taking responsibility for our own health. Whew, that was a mouthful. So those are my 20 principles of healing. I hope that they were helpful, and stay tuned. I will have more information on that book that is coming out, and I go through lots of other things, but I'm all for educating on what we can do for ourselves. My biggest passion is what I do as a wellness chiropractor and removing the disturbances and the interferences to that nervous system so that the body can really just heal itself. That is what I'm best at. That is what I love doing. I love seeing the positive changes, and as we call them, little chiropractic miracles that are happening when people get their life and their health back. It's also important for me because I know the causes, being physical, chemical, and emotional causes, that I educate on those as well. So my book has a lot of those types of things in it, because people need more information than they're necessarily getting right now. So again, Dr. Erin Daniel with Rejuvenate Life Chiropractic, and I hope you have a fabulous day.